Okay, today's lesson, first hour went extremely well, and just basically everybody was able to get their assignment done in class. Okay, was no problem. One of the easier assignments from the year. Okay, today our goal is to evaluate functions. Evaluate functions. What is a function? Functions are like machines. We've already talked to them a little bit. If you give it an input, it produces an output. And so there's new notation that you see. This function is called f. And if you take x and plug it into a function, you get an output, and that output is f of x. This doesn't mean f times x. This means f operated on x. And f can be all sorts of different things. I give a couple function rules down here. If you plug x into a function called g, it produces g of x. It does something to it. Yes?
So it's just y?
F of x is synonymous with y. G of x is synonymous with y. So why do we use different letters? Number one, that way we can give different names to different functions. Okay. Also, by using this terminology, you know it's a function, meaning every input has exactly one output. So let's evaluate a couple. This one says f of negative 2. And what that means is you can see that there's a negative 2 sitting where the x is. So I place a negative 2 in the same position as the x. And then we just evaluate. What's the absolute value of negative 2? So I have 2 times 2 minus 3, which is 1. For letter B, I'm not using f, I'm using g. And the g function says you take 3 times x minus x squared. So we have 3 times the quantity 4 minus the quantity 4 squared. And I get 12 minus 16, which is negative 4. What I would like you to do is I would like you to do example E and example G on your own. E and G. We don't have to do all of these. I'd like you to try E and G right now. Here I have 2 times the absolute value of negative 8 minus 3. The absolute value of negative 8 is 8. And I get 16 minus 3 is 13. 13 should be your result. Hello.
Hello.
The next one, we take 3 times negative 2 minus negative 2 squared. I'm more concerned that people will not get the problem right if you're plugging in negative numbers. Let's see how we evaluate that. We have 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Then it's minus negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So this becomes negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. Negative 10 is the result. Questions? What's different about H and I? They simply have letters. You just replace the variable with that letter. So it's 2 times the absolute value of A minus 3. And then letter I, it would be 3 times B minus B squared. You may wonder why we would do that. You'll start replacing variables with letters once you get into pre-calculus and calculus. That becomes a common thing that is used for operation. Last thing we do today is we do a couple of these for example 2, and then you can start your assignment. We evaluated functions by looking at our rules and plugging things in. Now what we want to do is we want to be able to look at a graph. We're going to call this function f. This is f of x. And it's telling to us evaluate -4. So as Jalen said, this is an x value and it produces a y value. So if we look at -4 for x, we're wondering what is the y value that's produced by the function. What would that be? -3. So with an x value of -4, you can see that the height of the function there is -3. So you're looking for the y value, the output. Okay, we're going to skip letter B. We're going to go to letter C. Suppose I plug in 0. What is the height of the function at 0? -1. We're going to skip D and we're going to go on to E. I plug in 4. What is the height of the function at 4? It is 5. If you notice, it stays consistent after that. F of 5 is also 5. So on and so forth. So you can have the same outputs, that's okay. Please simply turn to your homework. And all you're doing at this time is just that front page. It just says evaluating functions. You have a few that you can plug into the function rules, and then you have a couple of graphs. That's all you're looking to do. I lied to you and said I would have your answer key ready to go today.
Jeez. It's okay, I know you're
Day late, $1 short. So I really do hope that Monday will be that day. So I've got to get caught up. I'm doing my best. So yes.
Can you scroll the screen up?
Sure thing.
I was at a band lesson, by the way.